So yesterday, we discussed the cardiac cycle. As promised, hinimay-himayin natin yung cardiac cycle ngayon. Okay? So we have here the different phases of the cardiac cycle. This is atrial systole, isovolumic contraction, rapid ejection, reduced ejection. Isovolumic relaxation, rapid inflow of blood to the ventricles, diastasis or reduced inflow of blood to the ventricles. So from the beginning of atrial systole until the end of diastasis is one cardiac cycle. And then you have atrial systole again, so this is the beginning of another cardiac cycle. Okay? So atrial systole, the atria are contracting, the ventricles are in a relaxed state. Atrial systole is preceded by the P wave in the ECG, which represents atrial depolarization. Atrial systole will end. What will mark the end of atrial systole and the beginning of ventricular systole? Kasi itong line na to, yan yung boundary ng end of atrial systole, beginning of ventricular systole. So what will mark the end of atrial systole, beginning of ventricular systole? What happens at this point? Yung line, dyan sa line na yan. Ano iho? Anak? Ikaw iho? What will mark the end of atrial systole and the beginning of ventricular systole? Ano? No. Yan yung interval. Dito sa line na yan, anong mangyayari? Closure of the AV valves. You hear the first heart sound. So this is isovolumic contraction. You have closure of the AV valves here. What will now mark the end of isovolumic contraction? Opening of the semilunar valve. So you have the period of rapid ejection, reduced ejection. What will now mark the end of the period of ejection? So what will happen at this point? Closure of the semilunar valves. You now hear the second heart sound. So this is isovolumic relaxation. What will mark the end of isovolumic relaxation? Beginning of rapid inflow of blood to the ventricles. Ano yan? The AV valves will open. So this is rapid inflow, this is diastasis. What will now mark the end of ventricular diastole and the beginning of atrial systole? So dito sa point na to, ano mangyayari? End of ventricular diastole and beginning of atrial systole. What happens here? Ano nangyayari doon? Meron bang movement doon sa cardiac valves? Opening, closing? Wala. Nakabukas pa rin yung AV valves, nakasara ang semilunar valves. So meron ka pa rin ejection ng blood papunta sa ventricles. Now, the period of ventricular systole will start from the beginning of isovolumic contraction until the end of the ejection phase. Whereas ventricular diastole will start from the beginning of isovolumic contraction and you have until the end of atrial systole. So ngayon, we will now compare the changes in ventricular pressure, ventricular volume, aortic pressure, atrial pressure in one cardiac cycle. So we start with ventricular pressure. So that is how the ventricular pressure curve looks like. So as you can see here, during atrial systole, the ventricles are in a relaxed state, mababa ang ventricular pressure. Ventricular pressure actually starts to increase during isovolumetric or isovolumic contraction. It will continue to increase during the period of rapid ejection. So that will push the blood from the ventricles to the arteries. But as blood is being ejected from the ventricles to the arteries, the volume of blood in the ventricles decreases, and so will the ventricular pressure. It will continue to decrease during isovolumic relaxation. It will remain low during the period of rapid inflow as well as reduced inflow of blood to the ventricles. Slight increase again during atrial systole kasi may additional volume ng blood that will be ejected by the atria to the ventricles. Okay? Ngayon, what will happen at that point? Ano yun? The semilunar valves will open. What will happen at that point?
The beginning of isovolumetric relaxation.
Ano yun? What will happen at that point? The semilunar valves will close. Okay. Iha, excuse me. On the board, script. Iha. What will happen? Kindly for, sabi natin, dito nagsara ang AV valves. Pakituro nga kung saan magbubukas ang AV valves. Pakituro saan dyan. Kasi dito, nagbukas ang AV valves. Dito, nagsara ang semilunar valves. Pakituro mo kung saan mag-o-open ang AV valves. Kung kailan. Dito sa screen. Kasi yan may mga araw na yan, opening, closing ng cardiac valves. So, kailan magbubukas ang AV valves? At what point?
Sa IR. Sa may yellow dotted line. Di ba may IR? Hindi ako sure, pero... Ano ba?
Kailan ba nagbubukas ang AV valves?
Pag may pressure.
Yun sa end, ayun o.
Second heart sound.
Sa end ng isovolumic
Ano
relaxation.
nangyayari pag nagbukas ang AV valves?
Yellow dotted line ata. Bakit si... si Angel kasi yung nag-aaral.
Simple to pag nagbukas ang AV valves, what will happen?
Magko-close ang...
Quiet, please.
ventricular feeling.
Ano yan? Sagutin mo muna yung tanong ko. Pagbukas ng AV valves, what will happen?
Nag-blow close. So, pag nabukas ang end,
First heart sound muna siya, diba? Second heart
Hindi
sound.
pwede hindi mo alam. Kasi kahapon nung diniscuss ko yung cardiac cycle, nagtatanong ako sa inyo kung gusto nyo mag-clarify, magtanong. Walang nagtatanong sa naiintindihan nyo.
Pag open,
Isipin mo
may
lang,
first
nasa
heart
pa ilang
sound.
AV valves? Saan siya located?
Grabe, nakakaiyak yung inang baba.
Saan?
Ano ba yan?
Right atrium. Ang ibig sabihin ng AV? Atrioventricular valve. So saan siya located? Ano yung dalawang atrioventricular valve?
Left and right. And then the
Okay, mitral tsaka tricuspid. Atrioventricular. So saan sila located? Ha? Ano na? Okay, pagitan ng dalawang atria at ng dalawang ventricles. So anong mangyayari pag nagbukas yung AV valves? Nasa pagitan ng dalawang atria at ventricles.
second heart sound.
second heart sound.
Ha?
Binanggit niya kanina, di ba?
Anong mangyayari pag nag-open yung AV valves between the atria and the ventricles?
Second heart sound.
So, okay, meron kang blood flow from the atria to the ventricles. So saan yan mangyayari?
Sa IR.
Saan dyan nagkakaroon ka ng blood flow from the atria to the ventricles? Saan? Saan? Hindi. Pag sinabi mong ejection, blood flow from the ventricles to the arteries.
Sa IR.
Ano? Rapid inflow. O sige, ito yung rapid inflow. So, bago ka magkaroon ng rapid inflow, dapat magbukas yung AV valves. So, saan dyan magbubukas ang AV valves? Example.
Kasi siya na-close.
Basta siya nag-uso.
Kasi din paano ba ituturo sa board yung buong line?
Ito, paturo mo lang.
Sige yan. Ituro mo. Itikit mo. Okay.
Sa baba.
Okay,
AV
next.
valves open.
Kailan magsasara ang AV valves?
Dito, sa close.
Ikaw, halika. Ituro mo ngayon dyan.
Dito siya magko-close.
Sa may araw na yun.
Ayun, SL valves close dito.
Exactly at what point will the AV valves close?
Ala, dyan mag-open. Dyan mag-open ang SL valves.
Anong kinalaman ng AV valve sa ejection?
Di ba dito?
Dito.
Dito din.
Okay.
Eh, tama siya.
So the AV valves will close here. This is when you will hear the first heart sound.
First round sound.
The
AV.
semilunar valves will open at that point, followed by the period of ejection.
So, dito.
At this point, the semilunar valves will close, followed by the period of isovolumic relaxation. And at that point, the AV valves will open, followed by rapid inflow of blood from the atria to the ventricles.
So, dito
Clear?
yung AV valves.
Okay,
close.
next. Now, this graph will show you changes in aortic pressure. As you can see, aortic pressure or pressure in the arterial system is high. The average is between 80 to 100 millimeters mercury, even kahit hindi pa nag-i-eject ng blood ang ventricles papunta sa arteries. So, during atrial systole, yan ang aortic pressure, mababa siya, although mataas kumpara sa ventricular pressure. Aortic pressure will start to increase during the ejection phase. It will continue to increase until magkaroon ng reduced ejection. Question: bakit during the rapid ejection phase tumataas ang aortic pressure? Ano iha?
Run off.
Okay, kasi mabilis ang pag-eject ng blood from the left ventricle to the aorta, and that increased volume of blood in the aorta will exert pressure on the aortic wall to stretch the aortic wall. So, tumataas ang aortic pressure. Eh, bakit dito sa reduced ejection, pababa na ang aortic pressure, eh meron pa rin na-i-eject na blood from the left ventricle to the aorta? Bakit pababa na ang aortic pressure? Kasi ano?
Nag-recoil.
May peripheral.
Okay, so nagkakaroon na ng tinatawag na peripheral runoff of blood from the aorta to the arteries to the arterioles to the different tissues of the body. So bumababa na rin ang volume ng blood sa aorta. Ngayon, dito, ventricular diastole na. So nagsara na yung semilunar valves, wala ng blood na mai-eject sa aorta. Yung blood that is contained in the aorta, nag-run off na sa peripheral circulation. So, bumaba ang pressure dyan, pero biglang umakyat uli slightly. We call that necrotic notch or incisura. So, what will cause the slight increase again in aortic pressure during ventricular diastole? Kasi pagsara ng semilunar valve, sabi natin, mabilis ang kanyang pagsara. That will cause vibration of the contained blood in the aorta. Plus the elastic recoil ng aorta, nagkakaroon ng slight increase in aortic pressure. And then it will remain low all throughout the period of ventricular diastole. Okay? So to compare ventricular pressure and aortic pressure, talagang mataas ang pressure sa aorta compared sa ventricles. So again, ventricular pressure will start to increase during isovolumetric contraction. Ngayon, at the end of isovolumetric contraction, anong nakikita nyo? Ventricular pressure is now greater than aortic pressure. So that will push open the semilunar valves. Okay? Ngayon, doon sa rapid ejection, nag-i-increase ang ventricular pressure, slowly nag-i-increase ang aortic pressure. Pero pagdating doon sa reduced ejection, bumababa na ang ventricular pressure, ang aortic pressure bumababa rin, pero mas mataas siya ngayon kesa ventricular pressure. So that when aortic pressure exceeds ventricular pressure, that will now close the semilunar valves. Okay? Next. We have here the ventricular volume curve. Yan yung pinakamadali maalala. So during atrial systole, there is a slight increase in ventricular volume, again because of the additional volume of blood that is ejected from the atria to the ventricles. During isovolumic contraction, all cardiac valves are closed, so no change in ventricular volume. During the period of ejection, syempre, nai-eject yung blood from the ventricles to the arteries, ventricular volume decreases. Isovolumic relaxation, all cardiac valves are closed, no change in ventricular volume. During the period of rapid inflow of blood, dyan naman biglang tataas ang ventricular volume. Medyo nag-stabilize siya during the period of reduced inflow. Kasi hindi na ganun karami nagpo-flow ng blood from the atria to the ventricles. Again, slight increase when the atria contract. Okay? Next. What about changes in atrial pressure? We call the atrial pressure curve as central venous pressure. Okay? So there are three increases in atrial pressure or central venous pressure. First, you have an increase in atrial pressure during atrial systole. And that is what we call a wave. Next, during isovolumetric contraction, there will be an increase in atrial pressure due to bulging of the AV valves into the atria because of the high pressure in the ventricles. Another increase during isovolumic relaxation because simultaneous with isovolumic relaxation, you have increased atrial filling that will increase atrial pressure. So A wave, C wave, V wave. Okay? Dapat alam niyo yan kasi pag lumabas siya sa exam, mag-a-appear, wala yung mga title ng mga faces, puro lines lang. Okay? Next. Let us correlate this with the appearance of the first, second, and third heart sound. So alam natin, yung first heart sound is due to closure of the AV valve. What will follow closure of the AV valve? You have isovolumic contraction. Okay? So isovolumic contraction, no change in ventricular volume, but ventricular pressure increases. Ano pa pwedeng magbago during isovolumic contraction? You have the C wave or increase in atrial pressure. Ito second heart sound, closure of the semilunar valves. So followed by isovolumic relaxation. So again, no change in ventricular volume, pero yung ventricular pressure nagdi-decrease. Then you have the third heart sound, which may be accentuated in some conditions. And this will coincide with rapid inflow of blood from the atria to the ventricles. Okay? Now, this is the ventricular volume pressure curve, or what we call ejection loop. So, itong horizontal axis will represent ventricular volume. Ventricular pressure is represented in the vertical axis. So, if you are talking about changes in ventricular volume and pressure, we divide the cardiac cycle into 4 phases. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us look at phase 1. So from point A to point B, that is phase 1. Anong nakikita niyong pagbabago from A A to B. Yung ventricular volume nag-i-increase from 50 to a little less than 150. But there is little increase in pressure. So anong nangyayari? Increased ventricular volume with little increase in ventricular pressure. Anong nangyayari sa ventricles? From A to B. Kailan pwede mangyari na nag-i-increase ang volume sa ventricle, pero konting increase lang sa pressure? Ha? No. Baliktad. Pag isovolumetric volume, walang pagbabago sa volume. Ito, nag-i-increase ang volume from 50 to 130, pero little increase in pressure. Okay, ventricular filling. So, nakarelax ang ventricles, nag-fill siya ng blood, nag-i-increase ang volume. But since ang ventricles, elastic, pwede siyang ma-distend. It can accommodate a large volume of blood with little increase in pressure. Ventricular filling will start at point B. So what happens at point B? Ayan. What will mark the end of ventricular filling? Para paulit-ulit lang tayo. Ano yun? Closure of the AV valve. So you hear the first heart sound at point B. Now, from B to C, that is phase 2, anong nangyayari? Yung volume napako sa 130, but ventricular pressure increases. So, ano yung phase 2? Yung volume napako at 130, pero ang pressure nag-i-increase.
Isovolumic contraction.
Isovolumetric contraction. So what happens at point C? What will mark the end of isovolumetric contraction? Opening of the semilunar valves. Next. From point C until dito lang, sa kalahati, anong nakikita nyo? Nag-increase ang pressure, nag-decrease ang volume. So what happens from point C until dito sa midpoint? Increase pressure, decrease volume. Rapid ejection. And then from this point up to D, decrease volume, decrease pressure.
Reduce ejection.
From this point hanggang D. Actually,
reduce
dapat meron
ejection.
na C prime. Decrease volume, decrease pressure.
Reduce ejection.
Reduce ejection.
Galing.
And what will mark the end of the ejection phase? What happens at point D? The semilunar valves will close. You hear the second heart sound. Next. From D to A, bumababa ang pressure, ang volume ng kako. So 50 ml. So ano yung phase 4? Isovolumetric relaxation. At point A will mark the end of isovolumetric relaxation. So what will happen at point A? Opening of the AV valves. End of relaxation, beginning na ng ventricular filling. Clear?
Metric.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so let us now go to the different parameters that we can use to assess cardiac function. First is cardiac output. Kindly remember the abbreviation. Cardiac output is the amount, quantity, or volume of blood that is ejected by each ventricle per minute. Okay? Remember, we mentioned at the start of the lecture that although the opposing force to left ventricular contraction is greater compared to the right, although the workload of the left ventricle is greater compared to that of the right, although the left ventricular wall is thicker compared to that of the right, the output of the two ventricles are the same. Okay? Now, there are several factors that can influence cardiac output, but the two major factors are stroke volume and heart rate. So, cardiac output is equal to the product of stroke volume and heart rate. And in a normal resting adult, the average cardiac output is 5 liters per minute or 5,000 ml per minute. Sasabihin nyo, napaka-unfair naman. ng 5 liters, samantalang yung 5 liters ng left ventricle pupunta sa halos sa lahat ng organs ng katawan. Ay yung 5
Wala ko ng
liters ng
other
right
side.
ventricle sa pupunta sa lungs lang. But remember, yung 5 liters na pupunta sa lungs, yan din yung pupunta sa left ventricle.
Pwede pa sir.
Tapos siya din yung madidistribute sa peripheral organs. Okay? Next. Heart rate. Heart rate is the number of heartbeats or number of contractions or number of cardiac cycles per minute. Number of heartbeats or contractions or cardiac cycles per minute. And remember that in a normally functioning heart, the heart rate is determined by the activity of the SA node. And the activity of the SA node in turn is regulated by the autonomic nervous system. And the average heart rate is 75 beats per minute. And remember that if the heart rate is 75 beats per minute, the duration of one cardiac cycle is 0.8 of a second. Okay? Next. What about stroke volume? This is now the amount, quantity, or volume of blood that is ejected by each ventricle per contraction or per heartbeat or per cardiac cycle. Kaya kapag minultiply mo yung stroke volume sa heart rate, ang makukuha mo, cardiac output. Kasi yung stroke volume at cardiac output, parehong volume ng blood ejected by the heart. Yung isa per minute, yung isa per contraction. Okay? And the average stroke volume is 70 ml. It is equal to the difference between end diastolic volume and end systolic volume. Okay? Next. What is end diastolic volume? This is the volume of blood in the ventricles after relaxation, before contraction. Remember that during the diastolic or relaxation phase, that is when ventricular filling takes place. So whatever amount or volume of blood will be contained in the ventricles after relaxation, that is your end diastolic volume. And that is the same volume of blood that will exert force on the ventricular wall before it contracts. So ang tawag din sa EDV, preload. And the average end diastolic volume is 110 to 130 ml. Okay? Next. End systolic volume. As the name implies, this is the volume of blood remaining in the ventricles after contraction. So, meron kang end diastolic volume. Pag nag-contract ng isang beses ang ventricle, meron na i-inject na blood. Yan yung stroke volume. Ang natira, end systolic volume. And the average is 45 to 50 ml. Okay? Now, to demonstrate to you the relationship among EDV, ESV, stroke volume, we again have the ejection loop. So dito, a little less than 150, that is 130 ml. Ang sabi natin, anong pagbabago sa ventricular volume and pressure? Nag-i-increase ang volume from 50 to 130, little increase in pressure, that is what? Rapid inflow of blood to the ventricle. So ventricular filling. Remember that at point A, the AV valves will close. So yung amount ng blood na nasa ventricles, pag sara ng AV valves, yan ang EVV. So about 130 ml. From A to B, that is isovolumetric contraction. But from B to C, diyan ka na nagkaroon ng ejection, rapid and reduce. So yung na-eject from B to C is stroke volume. So that yung natira, ito ngayon is your end systolic volume, about 45 to 50 ml. So ESV plus stroke volume will give you the end diastolic volume. Or to put it in another way, end diastolic volume minus stroke volume will give you the end systolic volume. Clear? Okay. So, ilagay ulit natin dito lahat ng formula. Cardiac output is equal to stroke volume times heart rate. That means, stroke volume and heart rate are directly related to cardiac output. An increase in stroke volume will increase the cardiac output. An increase in heart rate will increase the cardiac output. And stroke volume is equal to EDV minus ESV. So another factor that is directly related to cardiac output is EDV. So increase EDV, increase cardiac output. Paano nangyari yun? So pag nag-increase ang end diastolic volume, mai-stretch ang ventricular wall, malakas ang force ng ventricular contraction, mag-i-increase ang stroke volume, increase ang cardiac output. Clear? Okay. Now, let us talk about factors that will influence the end diastolic volume. So, this is the ventricular wall. So, nakikita nyo, yung mga arrows na yan, lahat pointed sa ventricular wall. So, ibig sabihin, yung volume ng blood dito sa ventricles will exert force on the ventricular wall before contraction. Kaya nga, sabi natin, preload din ang tawag sa EBV. Preload. Okay? So, what now are the factors that will affect the EBV? One is effective filling time. Alin nga yung filling time na tinatawag? When we say filling time, anong phase ng cardiac cycle yan?
Duration of diastolic.
Relaxation or?
Diastolic.
Diastolic. So yan yung relaxation phase or diastolic period. So madali lang. The longer the relaxation phase or diastole, you allow more time for ventricular filling. So that will increase the EBV, increase the stroke volume, increase the cardiac output. Now, what is the major factor that can influence the effective filling time or the duration of diastole? Nodal delay. Major factor that will influence the duration of the filling time. Ano?
Major factor daw.
What will influence the duration of the filling time? Imo.
Nahanap ko.
Doon.
Patay.
Imo. Heart rate. Okay.
Ito.
Ngayon, if the heart rate increases, what will happen to the duration of the filling time? Decrease. So less time for ventricular filling. So what will happen to the EDV? What will happen to the EDV?
Decrease.
Decrease din. So pag decrease ang EDV, less stretch ng ventricular wall. Less din ang force of contraction. So what will happen to the stroke volume? Decrease. Cardiac output? Decrease. Pero sabi natin, yung heart rate directly related to cardiac output. Dahil dito, increase ang heart rate, nag-decrease ang cardiac output.
Nalasak.
Anong nangyari?
Basta question.
Ayan, meron tayong graph that will show you the relationship between heart rate and cardiac output. So as you can see here, if the heart rate increases from 20 to 60 beats per minute, there is a corresponding increase in cardiac output. Paano nangyari yun? 20 to 60 nag-increase. So medyo umiksi ang duration ng filling time. So yung stroke volume mo mag-decrease. But dahil tumataas ang heart rate, kahit decrease ang stroke volume, malimit ka namang mag-inject. So yung cardiac output mo, mag-i-increase pa rin. So ibig sabihin, from 20 to 60 beats per minute, the increase in heart rate is greater than the decrease in stroke volume. Clear? Increase in heart rate is greater than the decrease in stroke volume.
Decrease pala.
Kahit umigsi ng konti yung filling time, kahit nag-decrease ang iyong stroke volume dahil malimit siya mag-eject, nag-i-increase pa rin ang cardiac output. Clear? Next. From 60 to 180 beats per minute, ano nangyari? The cardiac output is maintained at a normal level. So, ibig sabihin dito naman, yung increase in heart rate is equal to the decrease in stroke volume. Parehas lang, pantay lang sila. Nag-increase ang heart rate, nag-decrease ang stroke volume. Kung ano yung increase sa heart rate, equal sa decrease sa stroke volume. So, normal lang yung cardiac output. But, when the heart rate increases above 180 beats per minute, nag-decrease na yung cardiac output. Because above 180 beats per minute, severely compromised na yung duration ng filling time. So kahit mabilis eject ng blood, sobra ng kukunti yung EBV niya. Kaya dito, yung decrease in stroke volume is now greater than the increase in heart rate. So cardiac output decreases. So I repeat, from 20 to 60 beats per minute, the increase in heart rate is greater than the decrease in stroke volume. So cardiac output increases. From 60 to 180 beats per minute, the increase in heart rate is equal to the decrease in stroke volume. So the cardiac output is maintained at a normal level. But above 180 beats per minute, the increase in heart rate is now less than the decrease in stroke volume. So the cardiac output will now decrease. Clear? Now, we mentioned that if the heart rate is 75 beats per minute, the duration of the cardiac cycle is 0.8 of a second, systolic phase 0.27 of a second, diastolic phase 0.53 of a second. If the heart rate increases to 200 beats per minute, there is a corresponding decrease in the duration of the cardiac cycle, decrease in the duration of the systolic phase. But ang pinakamalaking decrease, as you can see, from 0.53 to 0.14 of a second will be the duration of the diastolic phase. Kasi nga sabi natin kahapon, yung duration of systolic phase is more fixed compared to that of the diastolic phase. So that an increase in heart rate will affect more the duration of the diastolic phase. Clear?
Ano daw to?
Clear.
Duration of the...
Okay, next. Another factor that will influence the end diastolic volume is effective filling pressure. That is the pressure needed to distend the ventricles so that the ventricles will be able to accommodate a large volume of blood. Pressure needed to distend the ventricles. So that the effective filling pressure is equal to the difference between central venous pressure and intrathoracic pressure. Central venous pressure, intrathoracic pressure. Remember that when we say central venous pressure, that is pressure inside the heart, particularly in the right heart. Whereas intrathoracic pressure is pressure outside the heart. That is pressure in the thoracic cavity. So to enable the ventricles to distend, pressure inside should be greater than pressure outside. So central venous pressure should be greater than intrathoracic pressure. And remember, normally naman, yung intrathoracic pressure is negative. It is below atmospheric. Kaya masabi natin, if the intrathoracic pressure becomes positive or equal to atmospheric, that will now compress the structures inside the thoracic cavity, including the heart. So hindi makaka-distend ang ventricle. Kung hindi siya makaka-distend, hindi siya makaka-accommodate ng malaking volume ng blood. So magiging less ang EBV. Okay? Another factor is compliance of the myocardium. Remember that in the cardiac muscle, there is a fair amount of elastic tissue that is present. That is why all chambers of the heart can be stretched or distended. And when we say compliance, that is the measure of the distensibility or stretchability of an elastic structure. measure of the distensibility or stretchability of an elastic structure. And compliance is equal to change in volume over change in pressure. Now, para masabi natin that ang elastic structure, mataas ang compliance, that structure should be able to accommodate a large volume of blood with little increase in pressure. Okay? So, ano pwede mangyari dyan para ma-accomplish natin yun? An elastic structure para mag-increase ang compliance should be able to accommodate a large volume of blood with little increase in pressure. Ang ibig sabihin, mag-i-increase ang volume sa ventricles, pero maliit lang ang increase sa pressure. Di ba yan yung nangyayari doon sa filling time? Nag-i-increase yung volume from 45 to 50 ml to a little less than 150 ml. At ano sabi natin sa pressure? Kunti lang yung increase. So the ventricles can accommodate a large volume of blood with little increase in pressure. Maganda ang kanyang compliance. Okay? At kung maganda ang compliance, ibig sabihin, maganda na i-stretch na didistend yung elastic structure. The same thing happens in the blood vessels. If we compare, for example, an artery and a vein, yung arterial wall, venous wall, pareho ng composition. Merong tunica intima, endothelium plus basement membrane. Merong tunica media, smooth muscle layer. May tunica adventitia, may connective tissue layer. Plus, may elastic tissue sila sa wall. In fact, yung arterial wall, mas maraming elastic tissue compared sa venous wall. Ang pagkakaiba lang, yung arterial wall makapal. Yung venous wall, mas manipis. Sino ang mas maganda ang compliance? Yung veins. Bakit? Because the veins can, kahit nas-konti ang elastic tissue, manipis yung wall niya. So the veins can accommodate a large volume of blood with little increase in pressure. Halimbawa lang, may isa kang artery, may isa kang vein. Lagyan mo sila ng 5 liters ng blood. Kaya nila pero accommodate yun. Pero, ito 5 liters sa vein, konti lang yung exert ng force pag-distend na yung venous wall. Whereas yung 5 liters sa artery, mag-exert yan ng malakas na force para ma-distend yung arterial wall kasi makapal. Kaya mas maganda ang compliance, mas maganda ang capacitance ng vein. Okay? Another important factor that will influence the EBV is venous return. This is the amount, quantity, or volume of blood that will return to the heart per minute. So that whatever amount ng iyong venous return, the heart should be able to pump that to the arteries. So venous return is equal to cardiac output. Okay? We will talk about the factors that influence venous return when we go to hemodynamics. So tama lang na, pag maraming bumabalik, mataas ang EBV, malakas ang contraction, marami din ang lalabas. Okay? Next. And systolic volume. So again,
thicker daw ang artery din sinasabi.
Sa transit.
Sa ang recordings.
okay. So end systolic volume is the volume of blood remaining in the ventricles after contraction. What is the major factor that will influence the end systolic volume?
Force of contraction.
Volume of blood remaining in the ventricles after contraction. What is the main factor that will influence the end systolic volume? Ano yun?
Force of contraction.
Okay, the force of ventricular contraction. Cardiac performance. So kung malakas ang ventricular contraction, malaki ang stroke volume, mababa ang end-systolic volume. Pag mahina ang force of contraction, mababa ang stroke volume, tataas ngayon yung natira, yung end-systolic volume. Okay, going back to the injection loop. So yung red mo, yan uli ang normal. So ito yung end-systolic volume, ito ang stroke volume, malaki yung natira. In fact, mataas pa yung natira sa 50 ml. Pag i-increase mo yung force of contraction, ano nangyari? Nag-extend yung stroke volume, nag-increase. So, nabawasan ang end-systolic volume. Okay? Ngayon, tingnan ko kung naintindihan nyo yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. Ang end-systolic yung natira. So, naka-influence sa kanya yung force of contraction. Ano naka-influence doon sa force of contraction? Ha? Ano iho? Preload or EDB? Okay. EDB or preload? So, following the Frank-Starling's law, within physiologic limits, the force of myocardial contraction is determined by the initial muscle length. Muscle length ng ventricle. Okay? So what will influence the length of the ventricular muscle before contraction? It is the preload or EDB. Kaya sabi nga natin, within physiologic limits, the greater the EDB, the more you stretch the ventricular wall, the greater is the force of contraction. We also call this heterometric autoregulation. Ibig sabihin, yung mismong ventricular muscle ang nagre-regulate ng sarili niya force of contraction. Heterometric, nababago yung length ng muscle. Okay? Bakit within physiologic limits? So, hindi ibig sabihin na dire-diretso. The greater the EDB, the more you stretch the ventricular wall, the greater will be the force of contraction. Bakit within physiologic limits? Ano iba? What will happen if the ventricular muscle is overstretched? Dalawang factors ulit. Pag na-overstretch siya, nadi-disrupt mismo yung muscle, pwede mapunit. And anong nangyari pa? Pag halimbawa, katulad sa skeletal muscle, pag na-overstretch,
becomes weak.
lesser ang overlapping ng thick at thin filament, so that will weaken the force of contraction. But then again, hindi naman na-overstretch ang cardiac muscle. Kasi merong connective tissue doon sa muscle mismo, plus sa pericardium. Okay? So now, what are the factors that will affect the initial length of the muscle before ventricular contraction? Actually, these factors will affect initially the EDB. First is stronger atrial contraction. Stronger atrial contraction, mas marami pa yung additional blood ejected to the ventricles during diastole. So, increase EDB. Total blood volume is one factor that will influence venous return. So, increase circulating blood, increase ang venous return, and that will again increase the EDB. Next, increase venous tone. Ano bang ibig sabihin pag tone ng vascular wall? Ano yung venous tone? Toning contraction.
Property of small muscle cells per se. Vascular.
Anybody?
Nakakahiya eh. Makamakaman.
Now, sabi natin kanina, the veins, mataas ang compliance, ang capacitance, can accommodate a large volume of blood with little increase in pressure pag naka-relax ang venous wall. Okay? Yung muscular layer. So, pag naka-relax ang venous wall, yung blood nasa veins. Hindi siya bumabalik sa heart. So, mag-decrease ang EDB. So, para bumalik siya sa heart at mag-increase ang EDB, ano dapat mangyari? Hindi siya contracted kasi venoconstriction yan, lalong walang babalik na blood sa heart. Partially contracted, and that is what you call venous tone. So with sympathetic stimulation,
Partial
nag-i-increase
contraction.
ang venous tone, nag-decrease ang venous capacitance. Kasi partially contracted siya, less yung kanyang capacity to accommodate blood. Kung less yung capacity ng veins to accommodate blood, saan pupunta yung blood? Babalik sa heart. Okay? So sympathetic stimulation will increase the venous tone, decrease the venous capacitance, increase venous return, increase EDV. Now these two actually will initially influence venous return. Next. Increased pumping action of the skeletal muscles, especially those present in the four extremities. For example, when you remain in a standing position for a long time, blood pools in the veins of the lower extremities. So venous return decreases, EDV decreases. But once you move your limbs or extremities, makocontract yung skeletal muscle, makokompress ang veins. Now, one important characteristic of the veins in the extremities, merong venous valve. At ang opening ng venous valves directed towards the heart. So pag galaw nyo, nag-contract ang skeletal muscle, na-compress ang veins, nag-open ang venous valve. Again, yung opening directed to the heart. So saan ang punta? Ang blood, pabalik sa heart. So increase venous return. Okay? And a more negative intrathoracic pressure that will allow the heart to distend and to accommodate a large volume of blood. So again, actually, lahat yung factors na yan will influence EDV. Kahit naman venous return will influence EDV. Okay? Next. Aside from EDV, another factor that will influence the force of myocardial contraction is autonomic stimulation, specifically sympathetic stimulation. So you have norepinephrine from sympathetic postganglionic nerves, norepinephrine and epinephrine from the adrenal medulla. Okay, tingnan natin ngayon. Naalala niyo to. Cardiac muscle cell. Now, sympathetic stimulation will not only increase the force of myocardial contraction, it will also facilitate myocardial relaxation. Pinalalakas ang contraction, pinabibilis din ang relaxation. Paano yan mangyayari? So you have the catecholamines, norepinephrine and epinephrine, binding with beta-1 receptors in the heart. Pag nag-bind yan, G proteins are activated. Activated G proteins will activate adenylyl cyclase that will lead to the formation of a second messenger that is cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP in turn will activate protein kinase A. Tatlo ang ginagawa ng protein kinase A. First, it will cause phosphorylation of the calcium channels in the sarcolemma, activating these calcium channels, allowing calcium influx. So marami kang calcium na papasok, magbabind sa troponin C. Yung ibang calcium, magbabind sa ryanodine receptor para lumabas pa uli yung ibang calcium. So marami kang calcium na makakabind with troponin C that will therefore increase the force of contraction. Okay? But how will these catecholamines facilitate relaxation? So again, you have protein kinase A that will cause phosphorylation of troponin so that ma-unbound yung calcium from troponin C. So that will facilitate relaxation. Next, we have an intracellular protein that is phospholamban. Ano bang action ng phospholamban? It inhibits the calcium pump on the membrane of the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Kung naalala nyo, para mag-relax yung muscle, dapat yung calcium bumalik sa loob. At para bumalik siya sa loob ng sarcoplasmic reticulum, dapat activated yung calcium pump. Eh itong phospholamban, ini-inhibit nga yung calcium pump. So hindi makabalik yung calcium. Anong ginagawa ng protein kinase A? It will phosphorylate phospholamban. If phospholamban is phosphorylated, its inhibitory effect on the calcium pump diminishes. So the calcium pump is activated. It can now transport calcium back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So that will facilitate muscle relaxation. So increased contraction, but relaxation is also facilitated. That is sympathetic effect on myocardial contraction and relaxation. Clear? Okay, next. So another important factor that will influence the force of myocardial contraction is the amount of calcium ions that will bind with troponin C to increase the force of contraction. And again, sa cardiac muscle cell, the major source of calcium ions is the ECF. Secondary lang is sarcoplasmic reticulum. And remember also na kahit may calcium ka sa sarcoplasmic reticulum, hindi naman yan lalabas kung hindi papasok yung calcium from the ECF and activate the calcium-gated calcium channels on the membrane of the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay? Next, adequate coronary flow. So the main source of energy for myocardial contraction is oxidative metabolism. So very important na dapat maganda ang blood supply, maganda ang oxygen supply sa cardiac muscle. And blood supply, oxygen supply to the cardiac muscle is provided for by the coronary circulation. Kaya nga, kung halimbawa yung isa, dalawa o tatlong branches ng coronaries, halimbawa nagkaroon ng atherosclerosis, so lumiit yung diameter, o kaya nagkaroon ng thrombus, o kaya embolus, so may obstruction. So merong area na myocardium nawawala ng blood supply. Mawawala din siya ng oxygen supply. So ischemic yung area na yan. Pag hindi yan na-remedyohan agad, yung cells doon sa ischemic na area mamamatay, magiging necrotic, mag-develop ng tinatawag nating infarct. At yung area ng infarct, hindi niya magkocontract. Since merong area ng myocardium na hindi magkocontract, yung overall force ng myocardial contraction, magdi-decrease na. So magdi-decrease na rin ang stroke volume, decrease ang cardiac output, and that will not compromise blood supply to the peripheral organs. Okay? Next. Another factor that can influence the force of myocardial contraction is heart rate. So how can an increase in heart rate increase the force of myocardial contraction? Again, increase in heart rate within physiologic limits. Bakit pag nag-increase ang heart rate, nag-increase ang force of contraction? Because with each depolarization, you allow more calcium influx, so greater force of contraction. Kaya nga lang, within physiologic limits, kasi kung masyado nang mabilis, ano na mangyayari? Masyado na maiksi yung feeling time, hindi na ma-stretch yung ventricular wall, hihina na ang force of contraction. Now, what are the factors that regulate heart rate? First, autonomics, sympa and para. Okay? Let's start with parasympathetic. So, vagus nerve from the medulla, right and left. The right vagus innervates mainly the SC node, while the left vagus innervates mainly the AC node. Pero hindi naman yan absolute, may overlapping yan. So, meron po kaming left branches ng left vagus na pupunta sa SA, tapos branches ng right vagus na pupunta sa AV node. Pero sa regulation ng heart rate, it is mainly yung right vagus kasi siya din yung main parasympathetic nerve na pupunta sa SA node. So the neurotransmitter agent released by the vagus nerve is acetylcholine, which will bind with muscarinic 2 receptors in the SA node. And what will be the effect? The muscarinic 2 receptors coupled with acetylcholine-linked potassium channels. So that when acetylcholine binds with muscarinic receptors, potassium channels are open. That will allow potassium efflux, hyperpolarizing the SA node, making it less excitable. So that parasympathetic or vagal stimulation decreases the heart rate. The opposite is true with sympathetic. So coming from T3, 4, and 5, paglalabas siya ng norepinephrine, magbabind with beta-1, magpo-form ng cyclic AMP. So effects ng norepinephrine, even epinephrine, are mediated by cyclic AMP. And that will now decrease membrane permeability to potassium, hypopolarizing the membrane, making it more excitable. Kung naalala niyo yung autonomics, ang sabi natin sa innervation sa SA node, SIMPA and PARA are in tone. They fire impulses simultaneously to maintain the heart rate at about 75 beats per minute. But, under normal conditions, slightly predominant ang PARA over SIMPA. Okay? Next, hormones. Thyroid hormones, T3 and T4 from the thyroid gland can increase the heart rate. Neural reflexes that will include the baroreceptor reflex. Anong mangyayari? Mataas ang blood pressure. Magpapa-stimulate yung baroreceptor, magsasend ng impulses papunta sa vasomotor center. What will the vasomotor center do? Decrease SIMPA, increase PARA. With decrease SIMPA, increase PARA, heart rate decreases. Baliktad naman, pag mababa ang blood pressure, less impulses from the baroreceptor, makakarating pa rin sa vasomotor. Anong gagawin ng vasomotor center? Increase SIMPA, decrease PARA. Increase ngayon ang heart rate. Okay? Another important reflex is the Bainbridge reflex. Remember, the SA node is located at the junction of the superior vena cava with the right atrium. When venous return increases, that will stretch the atrial wall, directly stimulate the SA node, increasing the heart rate. At the same time, with the stretch of the atrial wall, impulses are generated, transmitted to the vasomotor center by the vagus nerve. And from the vasomotor center, motor impulses are transmitted back to the SA node, stimulating the SA node, again increasing the heart rate. Yan yung Bainbridge reflex. So, pinaka-stimulus nyo dyan, increase volume ng blood sa right atrium. Merong direct effect, merong reflex. Okay? Exercise. Again, due to sympathetic stimulation. Excitement and anxiety, sympathetics pa rin. Increased temperature. Increased temperature, increased metabolism, increased enzymatic activity, including the activity of sodium, potassium, ATPase, that will make the membrane more permeable to ions. So, mag-increase ulit ang heart rate. Okay? So, these are factors that regulate heart rate. Next. Cardiac glycosides. Example, Richitalis. So, these are drugs given to patients suffering from heart failure. Ano bang problema pag nagkaroon ng heart failure? Mahina ang force ng myocardial contraction. So, kukunti ang stroke volume, kukunti ang cardiac output. So, ibig sabihin, ang ginagawa ng cardiac glycosides, pinapalakas yung force of contraction. Paano? So, balik ulit tayo dyan. Now, sabi natin, para mag-relax yung cardiac muscle, matatanggal ang calcium. Paano tinatanggal? Actively transported back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum by the activity of the calcium pump. Actively transported out of the sarcolemma, activity of the calcium pump. And with repolarization and relaxation, the sodium-potassium pump is activated. Lalabas ang sodium, papasok ang potassium. Marami na sodium sa labas, may concentration gradient. Activated yung sodium-calcium exchanger. Lalabas ang calcium, papasok ang sodium. So anong suma total niyan? Kukunti na yung calcium sa loob. Magre-relax na yung muscle. Hindi natin gusto mangyari yan. Ang gusto natin, palakasin yung contraction. Dapat huwag lumabas ang calcium. Ang ginagawa ng cardiac glycosides, inhibited ang sodium-potassium pump. So hindi lalabas ang sodium, hindi papasok ang potassium. Kung hindi lalabas ang sodium, walang concentration gradient for sodium, and that will now inhibit the sodium-calcium exchanger. So pag inhibited yan, hindi rin lalabas ang calcium. So calcium will remain inside the myocardial cell, and that will now increase the force of contraction. Okay? Next. Afterload. Ang preload EDV. ventricular contraction. And what is the opposing force to left ventricular contraction? Pressure in the aorta. Okay? Ngayon, kung naalala niyo yung picture natin kanina ng preload, all the arrows are pointed towards the ventricular wall. Kaya mag-preload. Ine-exert yung force sa ventricular wall before contraction. Ngayon, itong mga arrows pointed towards the aorta, ibig sabihin lang, pag nag-contract ang ventricles, blood should be ejected to the aorta. But there is also an arrow naman from the aorta pointed to the ventricles. So ito na yung opposing force to left ventricular contraction, aortic pressure load or afterload. Okay? Ito ulit yung ating ejection loop. Yung normal, yung red pa rin. Anong nangyari? When aortic pressure increases, anong nangyari? Tumaas ang pressure. Against which the left ventricle will have to contract. So yung stroke volume mo, nandito na lang. So nag-increase ngayon against systolic volume. Now, this can be exemplified in patients with chronic hypertension that remains untreated. So mataas ang arterial pressure. That is now your aortic pressure or afterload. That is the force against which the left ventricle will have to contract. So ano mangyayari? Malakas yung kalaban. Lalaksan din ng ventricle ang kanyang pag-contract. Kaya nakikita nyo dito, nag-i-increase ang ventricular pressure. Pero kahit laksan niya, dahil malakas yung kalaban, kukunti yung nai-eject. Ngayon, kung chronic hypertensive na yung pasyente, ibig sabihin, for a long time, nilalaksan at pipilit ng compensate yung left ventricle. So kakapal yung left ventricular wall. Kaya common complication in chronic hypertensives is left ventricular hypertrophy. At pag may left ventricular hypertrophy, mas prone yan sa left ventricular failure. Okay? Another factor that can increase the afterload is aortic stenosis. So ito yung normal na aortic valve. So pag contract ng ventricle, ganyan karami ang output ng left ventricle. Eh pag nag-harden na yung opening ng aortic valve, lalakasan niya yung contraction niya para pilit ilalabas yung blood, pero kukunti pa rin. Kasi malakas ang resistance. At nakita nyo, ikumpara niyo yung thickness ng left ventricular wall dito. So kung matagal na contract ng malakas ang left ventricle, taga-hypertrophy yung ventricular muscle. Okay? So these now are the factors that will determine cardiac output. Heart rate, myocardial contractility or myocardial performance that will determine stroke volume. Preload or EDV, afterload that is mainly aortic pressure load. Output, anxiety or excitement. Again, that is sympathetic stimulation. Eating. Kasi pag kumakain kayo, mas active ang GIP. Nag-i-increase ang blood flow sa GIP. Cardiac output is equal to blood flow, equal to venous return. Okay? Exercise. Again, sympathetic stimulation. Next, high environmental temperature. Bakit pag may lagnat, tumataas ang iyong heart rate, tumataas din ang cardiac output. Increased metabolism, increased activity ng sodium, potassium, ATPase. Pregnancy, mainly because of an increase in blood volume, increased venous return, increased cardiac output. And of course, epinephrine or adrenaline.
Or adrenaline.
Ay, wala pa.
Okay? On the other hand, lying from a standing position. Rapid arrhythmia, sobrang bilis na, sobrang compromise yung duration ng feeling time. Heart diseases, valvular diseases, chronic hypertension, heart failure, and the cardiac output does not change during
Nasa
sleep.
school pa ako,
There
bakit?
is moderate increase in change in temperature. Okay, next. Another parameter, ejection fraction. How much of the EDB is ejected per contraction? So that is the ratio of the stroke volume and end diastolic volume. How much of the EDB is ejected per contraction? So this parameter will actually tell you gaano ba kaganda yung force of myocardial contraction. Kasi normally, 65 to 70% of the EDB should be ejected per contraction. So, ano ibig sabihin? For example, yung EF naging 30% lang. Bumaba ang stroke volume. At kailan bumababa ang stroke volume? Pag mahina ang force of myocardial contraction. So again, in patients suspected of suffering from heart failure, one procedure that is requested is 2D echo to determine the EF. So pag EF masyadong below normal, ibig sabihin, ang hina ng kanyang force of contraction. So malamang, nagkakaroon ng heart failure yung pasyente. Okay? Next. Another parameter that can influence cardiac output is the size of the body. So cardiac index.
Ano to sabi na prone to heart failure?
This is cardiac output per square meter of body surface area. And the normal cardiac index is 3 liters per minute per meter squared of body surface area. Example, sa isang athlete na develop ang muscle, so malaki ang kanyang body surface area, mataas ang blood flow. Pag mataas ang blood flow equal venous return equal din sa cardiac output. Ikumpara mo ngayon sa isang matanda na sedentary na ang lifestyle, decrease ang activity, hindi masyadong nagagamit ang muscle, so nag-atrophy yung mga muscle. So nag-decrease na yung kanyang body surface area. Pag-decrease din ang blood flow, decrease din ang venous return, decrease din ang cardiac output. Okay? Next is cardiac reserve. Maximum percentage that the cardiac output can increase above normal. So from 5 liters, the cardiac output can actually increase to 13 to 15 liters. Kailan niya pwede mangyari? If you have a hyper-effective heart. Hyper-effective meaning to say, yung pumping action of the heart is greater than what is normal. During sympathetic overstimulation, that may happen. During moderate to heavy exercise. The opposite of this is a hypo-effective heart, wherein the pumping action of the heart is now less than what is normal. At kailan yan pwede mangyari? Pag may heart disease, chronic hypertension, valvular diseases, etc. Okay? So again, these are the parameters that we can measure to assess cardiac function. So that is on Tuesday, your exam will cover from the beginning up to cardiac reserve plus your lecture on Monday, which is ECG. So that's it for today.
Sakto, nag-lobat.
Hindi na,